Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan here with another 1/6 scale Toy Talk review. Today I have the threezero FigZero 1/6 scale G.I. Joe Snake Eyes action figure. The previous figures I reviewed have been Cobra Enemy, so it's nice to finally be opening up a figure from the G.I. Joe unit. I think one of the few 12-inch G.I. Joes from the cartoons I had back in the day was Snake Eyes, so it's pretty great to have one of the scale and detail now. Most of my others were historical and modern military figures, of which I would also love to see make a comeback. But I'm getting off topic, so let's get into the review. Alright, let's take a look at Snake Eyes. Very cool box art on the outside. Got our threezero official sticker on the one side here. Joe Team insignia. Very cool. Some cool poses from Snake Eyes there on the back and various portraits. Alright. Of course, there's the cover for the window box held on by Velcro. Get the nice G.I. Joe unit insignia on the inside there. Then, you know what? It's kind of hard to see Snake Eyes through all the plastic wrapping in there that protects his outfit. So we'll just have to go ahead and get him out of the box and then take a look at that. Okay. That's what that looks like right out of the box. We also get this kind of little instruction set. And then I'll take everything out and we'll take a look at the figure. So here's Snake Eyes out of the box. Let's take a close look at the figure. I hope the detail shows up on camera. Nice, given his black outfit. Let's take a good look at his head sculpt here first. So his head sculpt is all kind of like one sort of cast piece. A very good paint job on there. There's some creases in the sculpt to make it look like he's wearing a mask. And then the visor has a very good paint job on it too. That's looking really cool. And if we take a look at like his suit, so his suit also has that sort of kind of like that synthetic layered or like that kind of multi-layered rubber outfit, or that material like Destro had on his jacket. And the only worry or concern that I have about that would be for longevity, because I'm afraid that might just kind of dry rot and flake off over time. That's my only concern about that. However, it does a great job of getting that look of that suit down. Oh, there's his clan logo on the one side there. Nice bright red paint on there too. Man, that looks good. And just all the little textures and details and the layers on this. Looks amazing. Even these little arm pouches, they're like bands that are like separate pieces. And then I think even the pouches are individual pieces that like plug into the band. Got all that good texture and paneling on the backside there. Some more armband pouches. He's even got one on his wrist here. And the gloves, the sculpted hands, have like these little painted armor pieces on there, and then a little bit of like glove texture on there too, which looks really cool. Then he has this armband on this side, and there's actually a little slot on the end of this for his hidden blade. And we'll take a look at that a little bit later and how that goes in there. And if we take a look at his belt, he's got all of these individual pouches, which actually can be removed. They pop out. They have these little pegs on them. And those can be swapped around if you really want them to. Okay. I had to bring that closer to me to get that back on his belt. It is kind of difficult to pop them back in because of his rubber belt. So just kind of be aware of that. You might have a hard time putting the plugs back in. So I would elect to just kind of leave them as is. Oh, we have some cool pouches on the side on the leg here. Just the amount of gear that they put on this just looks awesome. All right, got his sheath for his combat knife. A holster for his pistol. Now this is just a somewhat malleable plastic, but it is fairly rigid. So it has a little bit of give to it, so it's not like going to snap off or break very easily, which is nice. See, his pants have like those little stripes going down the front there. This is its own kind of like honestly, it reminds me of the old G.I. Joe figures from back in the day, just that kind of basic material. But it's got the look down. It's got some cool looking knee guards. Those look heavy. Very well painted. Kind of a rubbery plastic that are strapped onto his knees there. Okay, good. His shin guards are separate pieces. Got a pretty good paint job on there. And I like that they added like little scratches onto there too. That looks really good. And then his like shoes are his feet. Or his feet are his shoes, whichever way you want to put that. They're just kind of plastic and they plug into the end of his leg. Oh, he's actually got some tread on there too. Hasbro and threezero on the bottom. Even some of the tread is painted as well. Now, for articulation, let's actually take a look at the head here. Got very good up and down and head roll movement, turning. So that's pretty good. Just be aware that turning the head will brush up against the material on the neck. The arm movements. Be aware that it is going to twist up the fabric. His arms kind of ratchet in place. So if it's holding anything kind of heavy, it'll have better chances of staying up. Whoop. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, it wasn't aligned with the like a wrist would normally be like that. So you know what? I'm going to have to take some time to swap that out. Which, threezero, thank you so much for including a whole bunch of wrist pegs. Thank you. Because I just totally snapped his wrist off. That's going to take me a little bit to fix that. All right. Okay, let's try demonstrating with the other hand then. Now, all of this gear is going to limit the articulation a little bit along with the outfit. There we go. Now see, that's how that was supposed to work. I didn't break it, but that's how that was supposed to work on the other side. I'm just gonna leave his hand off for right now. Then it's got really good waist articulation. Honestly, right now I'm really hoping I don't have an issue trying to replace that one. Let's see, we've got joint around the waist, and I think, yep, the upper chest as well. Then legs. Gets limited by his belt a little bit, and his pants. Then we've got like the double ball jointed ankles. So I think we could still get some pretty good poses in. I'm actually going to try to fix his hands before I move on real quick. All fixed. So happy that threezero includes additional wrist pegs. I think pretty much any 1/6 scale company needs to be including like a baggie full of wrist pegs for like every figure that they ship out. Because, yeah, there's our broken one there. I mean, you could have all kinds of experience with these things, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, that one just didn't like you. That one didn't like me. All right. Hopefully we don't have any incidents as we continue. All right. So let's start taking a look at his weapons and accessories. So here we have Snake Eye's Uzi, or his submachine gun, whatever you'd like to name this one. Oh, it does not go up like that. It looks like this one swings out like this. There we go. I like the little metallic scratches they gave this instead of just like the plain black paint. Gives it just a little bit more detail. Oop, the magazine slides out. It has little bullets in there. Very nice. Oh, good. And it has like these little kind of notches there that kind of press into the little holder there so that it doesn't just fall out. Kind of like, what was that? Destro's clip, or his magazine, I should say. But that's cool. That has a good amount of detail on it. And if we test it on his weapon hand, it's held quite well. It's very light too. It's made out of plastic, so it's not like going to weigh down his arm or anything, but it has a good look to it. Next, his handgun. Again, we have those little like metallic scratches on there, which look cool. Doesn't look like there's any insignias on this, but it has a good amount of detail, and I like the texturing on the grip too, which looks really good. Ooh, yes, it slides. Unfortunately, we don't... Wait. It's way in the back there. It doesn't really align with the chamber like we would want it to, unfortunately. Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it actually... I don't work with firearms, but maybe it kind of pushes it up and then ejects it. Then this magazine also comes out. one stays in fairly well as well. How's the grip on this? Excellent. Oop, there we go. Now, I like that so far all of the weapons in the hands that have come with the threezero figures, they can hold them like extremely well. I'm going to find out how the swords get held here in a little bit. But so far all the guns have been held pretty firmly in their hands. It's kind of a big deal, especially if you're posing them a certain way. All right, so his swords, they're not made of metal or any kind of like die cast or anything like that. They're just kind of a thin plastic. So yeah, there is that potential for these to like break kind of easily, because they are kind of like a thin plastic. That's maybe the only downside to this. They do look really good, but I would recommend being very careful with these. I like that sculpt of like the wrappings on the handle. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. Just handle these with care. They're not sharp or anything either. Like, it's not actually going to cut anything. I think the other one's exactly the same. So just kind of like two duplicate swords. Or twin blades. Alright. Then he has these double scabbards hooked up to these straps that kind of will go over the top of him. Those look pretty cool. Even have extra pouches, even more gear. I like that. More gear looks cool. You know what? Let's demonstrate how that goes on. I'll show the instruction manual towards the end here. But they tell us to pop off his head. Then kind of feed this over his shoulder like this. That goes on, and then we kind of press it down. Then pop his head back on. And that's got a cool look to it. And I appreciate how easy that was. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself with something else. Okay. Before I set him down, actually, we're going to look at his little plastic hidden blade here. So this, apparently, there is a little slot just under the end of this. Oh, okay. And that goes right in there. So, Snake Eyes can go all Assassin's Creed on somebody. You know. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. That's pretty cool. And that was held fairly firmly in there, but even just the slightest tap will just kind of knock that out. So if it gets tapped, it's going to fall out, but it's not really going to fall out on its own. Next, we have his combat knife. Nice little texture on the handle there. This is also made of plastic. And this should slot nicely into there. Yep. Actually, can I get any of his hands to hold that, though? Oh, yeah. That's held firmly in there, too. Let's test these. So these are a little bit looser. They're going to slide down to the pommel, but if you really want to have them held a little bit tighter or a little bit lower, you can either just sort of turn it just a little bit so the hand grips it a little bit better, or even just kind of resort to sticking a little bit of sticky tack just behind his fingers so that it holds it where you want it to hold it. And we can just slide those nicely into their scabbards. Whoops. It doesn't help that everything is black, so it makes it really hard to see where it is. There it is. Okay. Next, you get 3 of these little plastic smoke grenades. See, the handles don't have any functions or anything, but we get 3 of those. And those should hopefully hook easily onto his belt. All right. There's one. And he stands up very nicely on his own, too. Now, he also comes with 3 stun grenades. The little sculpted holes on the main body of that as well. And these are supposed to hook down here on his strap just off of his belt. Now, I'm kind of hooking these just above these little marks, so hopefully they'll kind of stay on without sliding down too much. But this is much more of a loose fit than those smoke grenades. All right. Then, finally, other than his kind of open palm hands, comes with left and right closed fists. The same kind of armored glove sculpts. See his sword holding hands that are kind of semi-closed. And left and right weapon hands. Or trigger hands. Then, thankfully, of course, from earlier, our little baggie of wrist pegs. Once again, thank you so much, threezero, for including those. I feel no matter what company that makes them, every 1/6 scale figure should come with extra wrist pegs. Unless it's like the sort of steel built-in armature thing. But anyways, last thing is just kind of the diagram that shows where everything goes. And how to put on his scabbards. And then, of course, a little warranty sheet. Alright, so that's our Snake Eyes figure. Really cool. Let's move into a montage. This Snake Eyes figure is just as cool as ever. While the multi-layered synthetic suit has me worried about dry rot and longevity, it certainly captured the look of the character. It also has a good amount of flexibility to allow quite a bit of articulation. The amount of gear and pouches on the figure just adds to that extra cool look. His weapons and accessories have a great amount of detail, and other than his sword sliding through his hands a bit, his weapons were held pretty firmly in his hands. I did frequently have the magazine falling out of the pistol off camera, and the stun grenades tend to slide down if the figure is moved too much. They're hung on there rather loosely. Of course, I did break a wrist peg today, which I'm extremely grateful that threezero has included several spare wrist pegs with their figures. Thank you very much for that. Otherwise, the Snake Eyes figure is just epic, and I'm looking forward to adding more G.I. Joe figures to my collection. I feel like there's a storm coming. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It certainly motivates me to keep this going. Leave a comment. I know that threezero has Duke, Scarlet, Lady J, and Baroness in the pipeline. What other characters would you like to see, even if it's not from G.I. Joe? From G.I. Joe, I'd like to see Flint and Wild Bill in the future. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.